Hey everybody, it's Holly from the Urban Homesteader, and today we're going to be rendering wax. Once again, this will be my second year of doing this. Not much has changed from the process that I did last year. I'm not anticipating doing anything differently. What I am anticipating though is a lot less of it, a lot less wax this year. You guys remember that our honey harvest was mediocre at best. We really only brought in a third to what we brought in the year before. And I anticipate that the wax is going to be the same thing. I watched my video from last year and I just had a lot more to work with, and I only ended up with like 3/4 of an inch thick diameter disc of wax. So this year, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have very little. And I'm in a little bit of a crunch because I'm going to be a vendor for a holiday show next weekend, actually. And wax bars are one of the things that I've been selling. And I have nothing left. I have used the little bit that I had. I use it to make soap, and I've used it to make lip balm, and I love that. But I need some more. I just don't have anything. And then I also was selling the wax bars themselves for other crafters out there, which is awesome. Love that I get to share that with them. But here we are. I have to have some ready for the booth next weekend, and I really just needed to make this happen. So we're going to start the process once again. A quick overview. What we need: real basic stuff, a heat source, a 5-gallon bucket. I'm going to be using this paint strainer once again, same thing that I used last year, the wax, and of course my favorite, my Jesus pot. So we're just going to get after it. Okay, first thing we're going to do is put the wax in this bucket within this strainer. This is like the slickest thing. I just love these paint strainers. It's just awesome to use these. So easy. I mean, that's it. Here's the wax that I had dripped out. You guys remember those wax cappings? I just shared a video with you a couple days ago about the wax capping. So now we're going to be utilizing the wax that's left over and melting that down. Oh, I thought this was just going to pop right out of here, but of course it's not going to be that easy. Yeah, kind of. And remember, when you use whatever you use for anything with wax, it's going to be wrecked. So this spoon full of wax, but it's dedicated to this kind of thing, so not a big deal. It still works. You just can't plan to use it for anything else in the future. Oh my gosh, it's like stuck in here. This has been sitting out in the garage for a while, so it's kind of cold. Speaking of, I should talk about that. I'm in the garage today because the outside temperatures are ridiculous, and I have the opportunity to be inside where it's warmer. I'm going to do so. And I have no choice. I have to get this done, and the weather's not cooperating, so inside it is. Oh my gosh. There's a little bit of honey in there. All right. So these were my wax cappings, and then Carrie gave me hers as well once she got done with dripping her honey out of hers. Oh my gosh, it just sticks everywhere. There's one cool piece in here. This came from when we were cleaning up. One of our frames broke, so the frame just kind of fell apart, which means that the wax came along with it. So this was super sweet. I just get to throw that in here as well. Here's another big piece. It's kind of cool. So much work those bees put in, you know? And here I am, breaking it down for them. Appreciate what they do. Oh, here's one more piece. And then really do want to save as much as I possibly can because I know that it's just going to be minimal. So I really want to get as much wax as I possibly can. Easier said than done though, my goodness. All right, I think I'm gonna be done fighting with it. I gotta do a quick wash of my hands. Be right back. I'm gonna tie this off with simple zip tie. There's no drawstring on this filter bag, so this is my next best option. I don't know if any of you homestead, but if you do, tell me how many times you use a zip tie today. I need to take stock in the zip tie company. Man, I use those all the time. Okay, then what I'm going to do, get this ready. I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to light my heat source. There we go. Turn this up a bit. And we're going to start melting this down. So we need to add a little bit of water into this. So I'm going to go fill up the same bucket that the wax was in, and I'm going to dump that in here. As for how much you need, I don't know. It's kind of a game. I like to just, probably a third to half is what I would recommend doing. So I'm going to go fill my bucket up. Gosh, that's it. Hurry up and wait. We're going to let it melt. This will be the first of likely the first of three filters that we do. Once again, I'm going to go from the paint straining bag to a pair of pantyhose, and I'm probably going to be doing that twice, if not 3 times. We'll see. It's all a matter of just waiting to see what the wax looks like and how many times you have to render it. So that's it. I'll keep you guys posted. Well, it didn't take very long at all for all of the wax to be melted down, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. One of the hardest things to do is to get this to drain out. And you just have to be patient. And of course, I mean, I want to have it all drained out because that's all wax in there and I need as much as I possibly can. So you just have to let it drip out. It's crazy how that full bag of this paint strainer can be so full of wax and then it just goes down to nothing. Except for all of the impurities and all the yucks that are in there. So I'm kind of pulling this down and trying to let it drip out a little bit faster. Whew. I'm pushing as much hard as I can, but I don't want it to flip back on me. I'm going to grab a glove, see if I can't squeeze some out. Also, these gloves have been dedicated to wax work as well. You can see last year, they're not too bad, but they're only 1 year in, so let's see if there's anything else I could do. Oh, there we go. That helps. If I were stronger, I could probably get more out, but this is all I got. So we're gonna call this good. So now what we do, look at what I did to my gloves. Remember, I'm gonna be filtering this again, so I'm not feeling bad about putting the wax back in here. We'll get it clean. What I'm gonna do now is pour this into this bucket, and then it sits overnight. I'm probably gonna be setting this outside to let it cool off a lot faster. And that's it. We're gonna try the process again tomorrow. So easy. Anybody can do this, including you. That's it. Clean pot. That's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Welcome to day 2 of wax rendering. I'm keeping my coat on because I just came in from outside to do a chicken and an egg check. It's ridiculously cold. So grateful to be indoors doing this little project today and probably tomorrow. So, oh my gosh, it's so cold. I can't stand it. Anyway, that is where we live, so we deal with it. But here we go. We're going to get back into the wax rendering process. So this is what came out of the paint strainer from yesterday's wax rendering. Lot of gook. That's all I got to say. It's crazy, right? Like how much stuff can come out of wax, but that's what was in there. So, and then let's see. This is what we ended up with. You can probably see, turn this on the bucket. This is the wax, and then this is all just dirty water. So I'm going to scrape the inside of the bucket. It looks like some pieces are going to be kind of stuck to the side. And then we're going to put the wax in another strainer. We're going to do pantyhose today. There it kind of pops off. So I set the bucket outside a little bit yesterday, and we ran to town, ran a couple errands, and came home, and I thought I better bring the bucket in because if I had kept the bucket outside overnight, the water would have frozen. So not that would have been a big deal, but would have just been more of a hassle to get the wax out of there. Like had to wait for it to melt and all that stuff. So anyway, brought it in, and it stayed in the garage overnight. It's still hardened up, so it's all good. Like I said, we're going to be doing pantyhose today. So I've got a pair of pantyhose. I'm going to cut a leg out. Off, I guess I should say. And we're going to start loading it up. Set this aside. Don't need this anymore. I have no idea what the bottom of the wax disc looks like, so that'll be, it's always kind of fun to see what it looks like. In the meantime, I'm going to start with these little pieces that are from the outer edge of the bucket. Oh, I wish you guys had smell-o-vision because it smells so good. The sweetness of it, I just love it. This is what it looks like on the bottom. It's not terrible, but I can see that there's just still a lot of debris in here. So we're gonna definitely be running it through for sure one more filter, probably 2, maybe even 3. We'll see. I'm just gonna, and this comes apart real easy. Just gonna set it in there. I'm gonna put it into smaller pieces so that I can. First of all, it'll melt quicker, and then it'll fit better in the pantyhose when the pieces are smaller. I really did not do a very good job of setting up myself for tables. I can already tell you that the amount of wax that I'm going to get this year is way less than last, as I had anticipated. This disc is a lot thinner than what I had started with last time. I would say almost half. Just a sad year. Sad year for beekeepers, at least here in Carrie and I's world. That's about it. I'm going to do a little fishing in here. See if there's any bigger pieces that I can salvage. I'm going to tie this off. Basic knot. And I have already put a little bit of water in the Jesus pot. First I have to light my heat source. All right, that is a big flame. I had to turn this way down yesterday. It doesn't take long for this heat, the water to start boiling, and that's just not what I wanted. I kind of want more of a slow melt. And I'm going to put this on the outside of the pot so it doesn't fall in. The less I have in there, the less wax that sticks to the pantyhose, and the more wax I get in the long run. So that's it. It's another melting game. The water, I'm just going to dump it outside. That's it. It's kind of the same process as yesterday. Hurry up and wait. Let it set up again overnight. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Hey, here we are, day 3, and still grateful to be inside. I just came from outside, and it's still pretty cold out there, and I have a feeling I'm going to be saying that for quite a few more days. I just got a weather alert on my phone saying that there's another storm coming in, so whatever. We're going to just tackle this project and then find other things to do in the house for a while. Anyway, let's get back at it. So we're going to be doing the same thing as we did yesterday. I'm a little disappointed. The wax itself looks as dirty as it did yesterday, but the water itself looks a lot brighter, a lot more clean, but still pretty dirty. So I'm not sure how many more times we're going to have to do this. I know last year I only did 3 filters. It's looking like it's going to be at least that, if not maybe 4 or 5. So we'll see. And you never really know until, you see the wax the next day. So we're just going to carry on, I guess. So same thing. I'm going to have to scrape the wax from the side of the bucket, which generally isn't too difficult. I would recommend using a fillet knife because you can see that there's a lot of bend and a lot of give, which is helpful. And it does kind of pop off the side, so that's good. All right. Oops. Same thing. This is the nylon leg from the other pair, the pair that I cut yesterday. So I did make it quite a bit shorter this time because I just don't need that extra length on here. I have very little wax, which again makes me pretty sad. Just not a good year this year, but we're gonna salvage what we can. This is what it looks like this time. So I'm not sure how much you can see, but there's just like chunks in here, and I don't know why. I don't know what that is. By now, these chunks should be out of here. So it's just a little crazy. That's weird, like the backside looks very different. Last year this happened too. I get like these little, they almost remind me of like bearing balls, little bearings that are on here. Not as much as they were last year. I don't know, but still kind of inexistent. And they're almost like a gritty sand. So I don't know. If you guys have rendered wax before, let me know if this is normal. All right, I'm going to set this down here. Break this into smaller pieces and put it in my pantyhose. Well, now it seems like this disc seems like it's harder to break. A little bit. Still pretty easy, but nothing I can't handle, I guess. Oh no. Almost done. There's that. Then yesterday, when I was kind of cleaning up and found like I'd spilled some wax, well, once it hardened up, I was able to salvage a little bit. It's very little. At this point, I'm going to take whatever I can get, and I'm just going to put it back into the nylon. We're going to melt that down too, and possibly salvage a little bit more. All right. Same thing, tie knot. Let's see. I have water in here already. Very little. I put very little water in this time just because I don't need that much. That little bit of wax that I'm going to be melting down shouldn't take long. So turn the heat source on. Get this rolling. And sit here for a little bit, watch it melt. That is all. All right, you guys know the drill. I'll check back in with you soon. I might have spoken a little too soon. So the wax has pretty much all been melted down and it looks fabulous. Let me show you. Look at how bright that is. It looks amazing. So we have to wait to see what it looks like once it hardens up, but it's looking pretty great. All right, all the wax is melted down. Just kind of wanted to show you what's left. There's a very, very small amount of debris left in the pantyhose, so that's good. I'm just going to set this aside on the cardboard, and we're ready to pour it into the bucket. Not without putting my gloves on though, because this is hot. Actually, I'm going to shut my heat source off. There we go. That's it. See you guys tomorrow. Hey everyone, I'm happy to say that we are in the final stages of the wax rendering plan. I'll show you what it looks like here. So the wax itself is much more yellow, a lot more cleaned up than it was in the last 2 times, and the water is a lot more clean too. So I've already kind of cut around the bucket just so you guys wouldn't see me struggling to do that. So I'll show you what this looks like here. Here's a little piece that comes around the edge. There it is. It's a lot thinner than it was last year for my first time, but I kind of knew that was going to happen. I think I've mentioned it a couple times already. We just had a not fantastic year for honey, let alone the wax and all the other things. So anyway, that's going to be it. I'm going to be done now melting this down, at least for the rendering part of it. So there's one more thing I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about. Last year when I did this, I had no idea what I was going to be using the wax for, and I just wanted to share with you what I have done in the past. And I'm going to do a little show and tell here. So one of the things that I've made is soap. And of course, every time I do a batch of soap, it calls for 1 ounce of wax. That's what my recipe calls for, the one that I use. I'm sure there's millions of recipes out there. This is the one that I use, only calls for 1 ounce. And then of course I make lip balm. These have been wonderful for gifts. I love giving these to people. I don't know about you guys, but I have a tube of lip balm in all coat pockets and all handbags. It is never far from my reach, that's for sure. So with that said, that recipe also calls for, I think the lip balm for my recipe is like 1.5 ounces. So what I have done in the past is I have made these little 1 ounce wax bars. And how I do that is honestly melting down this wax again. And I just do this on my kitchen stovetop, and it's super easy. I have a measuring cup. I basically make a double boiler and melt it down in my measuring cup that is only specifically dedicated to wax. So I don't use it for cooking because it's trashed out, but melt it down, and then when it's melted, I pour it into these molds. So these are 1 ounce molds. And I tell you what, these 1 ounce molds are pretty slick. I don't have to worry about breaking off little chunks and measuring out in my scale and all of that other stuff. I can just grab one of these and melt it down and be done, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's going to be my plan. I have no idea how much wax I have here or how many 1 ounce bars it's going to make. I would say maybe 4 of these, something like that. I guess we'll see. It won't get me too far, but it will get a couple more batches of soap in, and some more lip balm when I run out of that too. So that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.